Dreamers, what is up? Welcome back to the Dreamers Life podcast. Hey, for all the magic that goes along with the holidays and this kind of hallmark lens that we view this season with, it can actually be pretty tough. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of triggers, a lot of things to work around, a lot of people to work around. So we thought maybe we could give you some tips and some things that you could use that might make getting through this holiday season a little easier and actually a little more enjoyable. So I think it's a conversation you're going to enjoy. Let's get started.
This podcast is a presentation of Pioneer Dream, celebrating 30 years of moving stories for our corporate, nonprofit, and entertainment partners.
Dreamers, happy holidays and welcome back to the Dreamers Life podcast. Hello, Anjanette.
Hi, happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
Thank you very much.
Kwanzaa, all the things, guys.
All the things.
I love it.
This is going to be a fun episode of Dreamers. A couple years ago we did a thing called the Holiday Survival Guide, which is kind of funny.
Yes.
This is kind of a combination of things. So this is connected to a podcast that we did a couple months ago called How to Be Human.
Yes.
But this is kind of the holiday edition of that.
So, how to be human at the holidays.
At the holidays. And it's also kind of, some tips and stuff you can use to get through the holidays without committing capital murder or something like that.
Nobody wants to kill their family.
It's hard when you have to spend the holidays in jail for murder. So this podcast may help keep you out of jail. But we're excited about getting through that together. And speaking of excited, we're just a few days away from our last Dreamers Live event of the season.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We have our Dreamers Christmas Bash up here at the Pioneer Dream Loft on Friday, 12/12, during the cocktail hour from 5 to 7.
Right.
It's going to be a fun night. We're going to talk about some good stuff, great people to meet. We'll have some fun little items for sale, new T-shirts for the holidays.
There'll be some frolicking. There'll be some festivities. There'll be some yuling, I'm sure.
I'm really looking forward to the
There'll
frolicking,
be some
actually.
live music.
Yes.
And
treats, coffee, cocoa, wine. It'll be fun.
So anyway, make plans to be part of that. You can even come on your way to someplace else if you want to join us for a while and then go on to that.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the holidays, we actually have a gift for you, a gift that we want to give you. So you guys are so great to join us in these conversations on the Dreamers Life podcast. And if you will help us with one small thing, we would like to give you a gift. So all you have to do is whatever platform you're listening to us on, so YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever that is, if you will go and write a little review about our podcast, about any of the three podcasts.
Doesn't have to be long.
Doesn't have to be long. You can do a little star rating too. You can just say, this is amazing. Love these people. Best podcast
suggest
ever.
7 stars out of 5.
I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
And if you'll do that and then just message us with your mailing address, we will send you a free copy of our book. You really don't have to read this, which is a collection of kind of funny columns and all that kind of stuff. And
heartwarming. Funny and heartwarming.
Yes, it's thought-provoking. It's like the stuff we talk about on Dreamers.
Yeah.
And then we will also give you free your choice of any of Anjanette's albums. So there's the Christmas album that came out a year or so ago. It's super great and lots of original Christmas songs on there and then original arrangements of some classics.
Yeah.
And then there's also your kind of pop album, Songs No One Has Heard. And that's a really great album too. So whatever album you want, we'll just send it to you. We'll send you a download card for it. Yeah. And all you have to do is just do a little review of the podcast on your platform, rate it with some stars or something like that, and then just send us your mailing address and we'll take care of the rest.
I love it.
Yeah.
That was a good idea.
Thank you. And then, speaking of giving, we are also just finishing up. We're getting ready to bought most of the stuff for the kids packs for this year, and we're going to get all of our people together next week sometime to put all the packs together and kind of get everything set for the kids giveaway. And we're going to do like 120 between 2 schools in Bartlesville.
Yes.
And
a lot of Christmas presents.
Yeah, and a lot of kids are in need, and so the need is bigger and the cost is bigger and all that stuff. And you in the listening audience, you guys have been so kind and generous to be supportive of that over the last 4 years we've done it. So if you can, this is a great time to contribute. So just go to dreamerscoalition.com. There's a little button that says "Join Us!" ! And it gives you a little chance or just a way to donate to all the things we do through the Dreamers Coalition. So that would be tremendous if you wanted to do that.
Yes, it would be very helpful as we finish out our Christmas packages project, for sure.
Like I said, the need is bigger, and so is the expense this time. So we really appreciate everybody doing that.
Tax-deductible gifts.
Yeah. So. Meanwhile, back to the podcast.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We did a podcast, like I said, a couple of months ago. It was called How to Be Human. And essentially what we talked about is that in our kind of new cultural environment where so many things are digitally oriented,
Yes.
that becomes the portal which we connect with most people
True.
through our phones and through
computers.
social media and through texting and all that kind of stuff. And then also kind of we've gotten bad about isolation and stuff. So in some ways, we've kind of have lost some basic courtesies on how we treat each other with, as humans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are things that we would have, the way we were raised, for the most part, common courtesies.
Yeah,
and
right.
they're just not things that everybody does anymore.
Yeah. For example, this thing about if someone invites you to something, you see them and they say. You say to them, "Hey, let's get coffee sometime." Okay, right. And then like a couple hours later, you get a text message from them. So, "Hey, it was so nice to bump into you. We want to do coffee on Thursday at noon." And in your mind, you're thinking, "Oh, I got that doctor's appointment. What day is that? What time is that? Can I do that?" And so because you don't know the answer, you just don't reply. You ghost them.
Yes.
And so they're on the other end hanging, waiting for you to reply. And then a couple of days go by and you're still trying to figure things out. And
I guess they don't want to go to coffee.
Yeah, I guess they were just lying when they said, let's go to coffee.
They were. Probably never liked me anyway.
So being human is kind of being aware of other people and kind of what they need in any given moment. So what we said is, if you want to be human, well, respond. Even if you say, I don't know, that's so much better than radio silence.
Yeah, definitely. Or I definitely want to do coffee. I actually had a friend last week. I felt really bad. She came to mind and I hadn't seen her in a while. And I texted, I said, hey, I miss you. I said, we got to do coffee. And then she texted back. She's like, yeah, let's do it. I miss you too. And then she was like, when can you go? And then it was a December week. Yeah. And it was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to be that person who was like, let's go to coffee. Sorry, I'm too busy to go. That's exactly what happened. It was really funny. But I said, well, if not this week, we'll do next week. And the main thing was she knows I really do want to see her.
Yeah. So when we did this podcast a couple of episodes ago, we talked about, being responsive. So if someone messages you, you message them back. Even if the answer is, I don't know yet, I'll get back with you, whatever. So just so you don't leave people hanging. We also talked about this idea of when you are invited to a place, maybe don't be, in the parties like it's the cocktail like Dreamers.
Right.
And so it's
we
at
start
5
at 5,
o'clock.
right.
Don't show up at 4:45.
No, don't, because we're scrambling.
Everybody, this is not just us, but when people are throwing a party, there's a lot to it. And even in simple parties, people are putting food out, making sure everything's cleaned up, and they're getting themselves dressed, and maybe they were cleaning up before for a few minutes. Now they're going to go put their party clothes on and all that kind of stuff. So you showing up at 10 till.
When they're naked, trying to change.
And this was what happens. People show up early, and then they monopolize the host and just take them over, talking about how strange their day was.
That is the
and
least.
This whole thing.
I got to tell you, that is my least favorite.
Just a total lack of awareness.
Yes, because if someone's hosting a party, it's likely been a busy day for them. They're excited to do it, but they've had a million things on their list.
Yes.
So when you walk in and go immediately, oh my God, my day, and then they're trying to put the food out and get drinks for people, and then you're still talking about how crazy your day was. And usually when people do that, it's been about 3 or 4 things, and you're thinking, I said 12 things.
Yeah. And so, so that's part of it. And so then just this awareness of what other people are doing, what their minute is right now, what their day has been like, what their experience is, what they might need. Yeah. So in the holidays, of course, that kind of ramps up a bit. And I know you'll have some of these tips that you want to add into it.
Okay, we'll see.
But, as we say, I think one of the things about awareness or humaning is that as we go into the holidays, you just realize you're not the only one celebrating the holidays.
Exactly.
You're not the only one who's busy, rushed, buying, shopping, arriving, visiting, doing all those things. And so everyone is there's a joy in it, but there's also a little bit of anxiety and frenzy. And so just knowing that you're not the only person shopping for a gift, not the only person hosting a party or going to a party, not the only person, everybody's going through that. And so maybe find ways that you can make that easier for other people during the season. So maybe that's letting somebody else go ahead of you in line. Maybe that's really being aware of service people, especially baristas and waiters and people in the coffee shop and people
cashiers, your
people
checkers
changing your
stores.
oil. All those people just get slammed. Your hairdresser, all those people just get super, super slammed in this season. So maybe be aware of that and find ways to kind of do what you can to either encourage them or be joyful to them or alleviate something for them. But that's a big, big deal.
Yeah, definitely. I've actually showed up at parties. Well, and I learned it from a couple of different friends
Yes.
that are on a close level with us. I have some people that help us with events, and they're great. They don't come early, but they will come like right at 4:59 or 5,
Right.
and so they know if they're the first one to get there,
Yeah.
that I'm going to ask them to light the candles. and so I always say, hey, if you here's the fire stick. Can you go
Yeah.
around and light the candles? And they're fine with it. So I started thinking that's a nice thing to do.
Yes.
If you get to a party,
What can I do to help?
What you could say to the host would be something like, hey, I bet you're pretty busy. You want me to like oversee icing the drinks or,
Yeah.
kind of look around and see where they're running around
Yes.
and say, could I greet people for you? Or
Right.
would you like me to smoke that cigarette for you or whatever?
Can I get you a light?
Can I get you?
Yeah.
But the point is, that's it. It's being
Yes.
aware. And then also, and I know sometimes I do this too, and we all share our things with how our day's been with people, but there is something to that.
Yes.
When you walk right in, we were just joking about it earlier, but it's really kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Everybody's so busy, be like, you wouldn't believe all the shopping I had to do today and the phone calls I had to make and this and that. And just being aware that, like you said, everybody else is doing those things.
We have some questions that are courteous questions that we don't really need an answer to in detail. So the question of, hi, Bill, how's it going?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's, that's a courtesy.
It is.
So
It's,
that's not the time to say, well, my eczema has been backing up and I don't know what's going on with this and I don't know. And I'm
eczema.
afraid I'm going to lose my job and this,
Yes.
that. And you're like, okay, thanks, Bill.
Yeah, and then later, once the host has calm, everything's calm and the party's in a
When
flow, of
everybody's
course.
sitting down and someone sits next to you and says, hey,
Sure.
tell me how things are going. That's the time
That's
to
when
talk
you
about
bring
your
up the eczema. Yeah, for sure. Well, this psoriasis. Or my favorite, when we used to go see, well, she was in her 90s. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she would always give us the bathroom update.
GP, yeah.
Georgia Pearl. And,
Right.
when you get to be 98, you
guess you can
pretty
tell
much
that
say
stuff.
whatever you want. But we would go see her.
Well,
and
I mean, she lived in her own apartment and had for years. So, your bowel movement's kind of a big part of the day.
it is. If you're 90, yeah. So she was so cute. We'd be like, oh, Georgia Pearl, hey. So we'd move our schedule around to go see her. And then she'd say, I said, how you doing, Georgia? And what you're hoping for is, oh, pretty good. I mean, I got to had a phone call or whatever.
Right.
Instead of be like, well, I've been pretty regular, so that's good. Or I've been stocked up. But we don't need the bowel update, really. So
She had a little notepad by her phone, and
So cute.
they had a nurse that would show up once a week and check in on her and make sure she was doing okay. And but she would write down her vitals, and then recite them back. Well, my blood pressure was X, Y, Z, and my heart rate was whatever, and I'm weighing about. And I'm like, wow, Georgia, thank you.
yeah, but the reason that we tolerated that is because she was 98, so it was okay. So if you're of a normal age,
Right.
you may not lead with
Yes.
that at a party.
Okay, here's another one.
Okay.
And I know this will be controversial for some people, and I get it. But we've been essentially celebrating Christmas for about 2,000 years now. Maybe give or take. And,
sure.
So it's really not on us to save Christmas.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of people who are up in arms right now about making sure you save Christmas and it's not Happy Holidays or CMS or Xmas or whatever it is.
Right.
And I just want you to know that Christmas has been happening for 2,000 years and it will continue to happen.
It's not going to be extinct.
And we don't need to correct people when it comes down to I haven't seen anyone converted to any persuasion by a festive tongue lashing
Yes.
in the process. Well, we say Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. Say Christmas. That's fine. But it's not on you to correct other people.
No. You know
And,
what's not fun during the holidays is righteous indignation. It's just it's not a good look on you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Oh, well, we celebrate Christmas. You've got to. Yeah, there's no reason to correct people,
Yes.
in that. Let's just look for places that we can all get along.
Oh, absolutely.
So that would be, and if you have a friend that doesn't celebrate Christmas, you could maybe learn what it is that they celebrate and say that.
Yeah.
I was joking when we said
Trying
that,
to be
but
inclusive and connect with people.
you
That's the goal.
I mean, if you care about somebody, it doesn't mean you're not going to celebrate Christmas. It doesn't.
You're not going to accidentally catch Hinduism. because you said holidays instead of Christmas, or because you honored somebody else who is a Hindu.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think it's kind if you have friends that are
Right.
Jewish to say Happy Hanukkah. If you know that's what they're
right.
celebrating, what's that like for you? And just to be curious about it.
Right.
It's a nice thing. And save the snark on
Yes.
the Merry Christmas.
Well, and related to that, the holidays are a good time to just leave your politics at home.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
You don't have to wear the political shirt when you go to the party. Everyone knows what you believe. Everyone knows what side of the aisle you're on. We all get that.
Everyone's read your Facebook posts.
Yeah. So, if you're going to a place, maybe don't wear the political stuff.
Yeah.
Don't wear the big, shirts and all that kind of stuff, the hats and all those kinds of things on either side.
Yeah, just try an ugly sweater.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then when you get to the party, maybe just don't go to politics.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what else to talk about,
yeah.
First of all, read a book. That'll help you.
Read books.
But, just work on some questions like, what was Christmas like when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Was there is there a toy that you got as a kid that was like a real standout? Did you guys have any traditions? All that kind of stuff. Nice.
Well, and I have a friend I was chatting with a while back, and they were talking about confessing to me that they really hate like small talk at parties.
Yes.
So for somebody that's got an extroverted personality like myself,
yeah.
That's just second nature to me
Right.
to chat with people about whatever, and I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
But this person is more of an in-depth conversationalist, and there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to events, you're going to have to do some chit chat with people.
Yeah.
So the question idea, it was funny. Like, I think when I was talking with this person, it was summertime. So I said,
Yeah.
well, usually when I have to go into and the same applies for like meetings or whatever
Right.
you're headed to, I would have a couple questions in mind and try
Yes.
not to make them too weird, because I've seen like my summer one was, hey, are you guys getting to travel anywhere this summer?
Yes.
And I mean, it's most people, at least in our socioeconomic bracket, are
Yeah.
fortunate enough to get to take some sort of a trip or vacation, if it's just camping or whatever.
Yes.
And so that's a fun topic that can start a conversation. So I really like that. But yeah, you don't want to get too weird with your questions. I've seen some people do that, and they'll be like this. What's the most meaningful thing that has happened to you this season? And that's okay.
It's
That's
too much.
I mean, it's a sweet. It's,
we used to have a friend that would come over to the house.
I mean, maybe
and
let that be your third question if you're having a really good talk.
Well, we used to have this guy that would come to our house for parties and stuff, and then he'd be there and he had a real loud, booming voice, and then he would just say,
yeah.
"What's the thing that brings you the most joy right now?"
Yes, and that just
And you're like, "What? What are you thinking at this very moment?"
You want to be like,
"I don't know. I just was going to get some nacho dip. I don't know."
What are you thinking
why do you
at this
have to be
very moment?
weird?
Don't be weird.
But I do think that sometimes it will set your mind at ease if you just kind of have preloaded 2 or 3 questions you can ask.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
It really does help.
What are your holiday traditions? What was Christmas like as a kid?
Sure.
Like with parents, I like to ask parents if there's like a big gift on the list this year. Like, what's the thing every kid wants this year? And that opens up a whole realm of conversation that's really, it can go a lot of places.
Yeah, it's really true. And if you're more of a deep conversationalist, which is great, but you might just ease in.
Warm up a little bit.
Warm up. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
You've got to warm up before you go right into the deep question. But it's okay, and you'll get a vibe from that. But it makes it more enjoyable for you and for the other person. So there you go. The party questions. There you are.
Yeah, I think that this whole thing about awareness is a big deal too, and just being aware, like we have talked about on the Holiday Survival Guide when we did that podcast. We talked about, so a lot of times you get together with family, and that might be the only one time in a year or every couple of years that you see some people, and so it can be awkward. There are a lot of people in our families that we would not see if they weren't family. So they're the kind of people that can make fun of your childhood trauma, or want to get into conspiracy theories, and they're just awkward, weird people.
Yeah.
And this thing about asking them questions, that's a really easy thing. I mean, almost all of us at some level like to talk about ourselves. At least we know the information.
That's true.
I know we all have a past, so we got that to draw from. And so the idea of asking those difficult people questions gives that a chance to go somewhere and makes it a little less awkward. And you try to ask questions that maybe aren't one-word answers, like, do you like Christmas? Well, yes, done. Okay. You got to ask questions that need a response a little bit.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
definitely. I think it really can help, and it'll make you have a better time. And then before you know it, you're just in there and you're loving it.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, it'll just make the time go by faster.
Did we talk about offering to bring something to parties?
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Talk about that.
Is my mom taught me this, and it was actually really good. And it seems a little somewhat formal, but she would say that that you never show up somewhere empty-handed. And that's nice. Now we all have friends that we're really close to, and
Right.
that's not required, but it is still really nice when people say to me, I'll say, hey, we're having a party on such and such. Would love for you guys to be there.
Yes.
Whenever they say, oh, right, awesome. What can I bring?
Yeah.
And sometimes the answer is nothing, but thank you
Right.
so much for asking. But sometimes it'd be great. Hey, would you grab a couple of bags of ice on the
Yes.
way, or bring some napkins, or just your favorite snack? But it's really just polite.
Yeah, it's a
and it
courtesy.
says it's a courtesy to say, yeah, what
Yeah.
could I bring? And or just even if that person doesn't ask you for something, still bring a little something.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to do like hostess gifts, like you would bring,
Yeah.
which, by the way, that is not something that's required. But occasionally, I like to give a lot around
Yes,
Christmas time,
right.
and I'm a good sales shopper. So
Yeah.
these are my little tips and tricks. But I will pick up some fun little things, because if it's a friend that's invited us to a party, I know that takes some work,
Yeah.
and it's just a sweet gesture. Sometimes
Yes.
I wouldn't call it an official hostess gift, but sometimes I might bring like a little fun snowman soap or something.
Yes.
And, just
Just
a
a
little,
small
just
thing.
a little thing. It's
Yeah.
a sweet thing, and people will like you
And
if you do it.
it also says, hey, thanks for thinking of me and including me in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right. And if the hostess gifts get really good, then you get invited a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'm
The last thing
kidding.
you want to do is be the person they vote off the holiday island.
Exactly.
You're like, oh,
But you
well.
it's definitely sweet and
Yeah.
polite, just to say, is there anything I can bring to help out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I like this thing too. I mean, we kind of touched on it already, but this idea of really, really being mindful of service people in this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
So this idea of being prepared to maybe tip extra
Yeah.
or being prepared to donate more or whatever it is, but kind of making eye-to-eye contact with people who are
Yeah.
in that industry of all levels, nurses,
Yes.
doctors.
Your Amazon package
Oh
delivery
my gosh!
people.
And just
Yeah.
treating them like
Yeah.
true humans, like somebody you know.
Yeah.
So that they know that you're aware of them. You
Yeah.
know?
And all it takes is, like I was thinking, our Amazon guy or girl
Mm-hmm.
comes to the door, and you say, hey, man, how's your December
Yeah.
going? I know it's a busy season for you. And just somebody noticing that
Right.
means a lot to them. And they're like,
Yeah, I normally-
hey,
I
it's
just-
been kind of crazy, but it's okay.
I'll usually just lay in wait, hide behind the bush, and then when they come there, I just jump out. Hey, how are you? Yeah, just see what
Yeah,
that
that's
goes.
it. Just scare the crap out of them. Nothing says Merry Christmas like that. But
Yeah.
no, just being aware of them. And we actually did this thing a couple years ago, and I'm glad that I just remembered it because it was kind of cool. I had a few just little treats. I mean, these things seem
Yes.
stupid. It's not about the money. But I can't remember what we had. If we had like holiday moon pies, or there was Christmas tree cakes from
Yeah,
Little Debbie. I
right.
mean, if you have a basket of those,
Exactly. Just sit them by the front door.
seriously,
Every time you leave the house,
and say,
grab a
Amazon
couple
person,
and-
thank
yeah.
you. And it's this. It's not. It's so big under the thought that counts. I
Right.
mean, yes, we should tip and do all that for sure, but just a little gesture.
They might not
Candy
even
cane.
eat it themselves, but they'll take it home, maybe give it
their
to their
kid.
kid or something, and they'll look like
Yeah.
a hero. And
Yes, and the point is they feel noticed.
Yes.
They feel seen, as we
Absolutely.
say. So that's a really nice thing to
It's
do.
a great time to be aware of the people that live around you. You know, there's a couple people on our block, which is a really great block.
It is.
But there are a couple of people who have a really difficult time getting out now.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
And so finding a little thing to leave on their porch or leave in their mailbox or a little card or something.
Yeah.
Or stopping by for 10 minutes and just saying hello and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Take a couple of cookies or an insulin pen or something. I don't know, whatever you need.
Well, do you need the insulin pen after you have the cookies? Is that it?
Take them some gummies, whatever they need.
Wow.
And but it's just making sure. I mean, the holidays can be very, very difficult for a lot of people. Some
Yeah.
people this year are going to be celebrating their very first Christmas without a spouse.
Yeah.
They're going to be celebrating. Maybe they've lost a parent, they've lost a spouse, they've lost someone they love this year, and the holiday has an amazing ability to make you mindful of that and aware of it, and that increases the pain and discomfort for a lot of people.
It magnifies them.
It might be the first time that they have had a holiday where they've been divorced or whatever those kinds of things are. So for so many people, it can be a trigger. It can be a thing that just magnifies whatever that you struggle with on a normal basis.
Yeah.
So if you struggle with some loneliness already,
Yeah.
and then you realize everybody around you is having a party and they're having a great time and you're not, those things are difficult.
Yeah. And I think being aware of other people that maybe don't get included in things
Yes.
a lot of times, can really go a long way.
Yeah.
Maybe a neighbor that you don't know that well, if you're having a gathering, try including them, at least invite them. And it could lead to, some sort of a friendship.
Yeah.
People really out there are struggling with isolating. And the thing about people that are struggling with loneliness is that the more you're alone, the more you want to be alone, even though you really don't want that. It's just that isolation sort of becomes a habit, and it makes the effort to get out and be with people even more difficult. So, you may just take an inventory, your neighborhood is a great example, or for people that you know at church or at work that you just see are not being included as much.
Yeah.
And find a way to look for somebody that you can include. I mean, everyone's seen the Grinch movie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And he ended up being so sweet. I love the newer cartoon version.
Yeah, I do too.
And, but just sometimes one invitation can make people really feel
Well, when we did this episode
valued.
a couple of months ago, and we talked about things, one of the examples we gave is this thing where you show up to a meeting, or you show up, whether you're helping with a nonprofit or you're in a corporate society or whatever it is, you show up and whoever's called the meeting hasn't gotten there yet, but maybe one or two other people have.
Yeah.
And so when you walk in, there they are at the coffee shop or at the big table and conference room table or whatever, and they're just staring at their phones.
Yeah.
And no one even acknowledges stuff. And most people do that because they're already a little uncomfortable and insecure.
Yeah,
They
and
don't know the other people there. So
it's a real easy way to have something in your hand that you feel like you can look at.
So you and I have gotten into the habit of just walking in saying, hello.
Yeah.
My name is, or what's your name, and making eye-to-eye contact with people and not letting that kind of loneliness coexist in a room where there's 4 or 5 people but no one's talking.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this today because you and I work out at the same place, and so we know our group kind of is we work out with a group of people.
Sure.
So it's the same people pretty much every day.
Yeah, so we know each other pretty well.
Getting in the habit of when you walk in saying, hey, Martin, hey, Sarah, hey, buddy, calling them by name, looking them in the eye, asking a quick question. How was your weekend? What's, this, and this. But it brings us together and it connects things, and we don't live these kind of lonely, exclusive lives.
Yeah.
We are choosing to make some small connection into each person's place.
It was really interesting thinking about kind of the way our society has gone with technology, and we're not anti-technology with what we do. We use it every day. But I was talking with somebody about, I think it was maybe even a Walmart, where all of the checkout stands, all of them were self-check.
Yeah.
So there were not people. It's easier than ever to just go through a coffee place, order it, and never speak to a human. Yeah. They were talking about
you could go to Walmart, one of the most populous places on the planet, and have no human contact in the entire you're there.
And we get used to that. And they were talking about in the study that just some of the, back in the day, I guess, even when we were being raised or when we grew up, those relationships that you had with your postman, postwoman, with your now Amazon delivery drivers, with your checker at the store that you see on a regular basis. It's really goes back to Mr. Rogers. It's like, who are the people in your neighborhood?
Absolutely.
And so here we found all these ways to have contactless everything.
Yes.
And that's great, except for people are lonely.
Yeah.
And so there's a value really to talking with the people that you see at your coffee shop on a regular basis, not just for them, but for you.
Yeah.
Those interactions and knowing something about their life. The more that we're all interconnected with each other, the more we care about one another. And it really does make a difference in the world.
Yes.
I think now more than ever, we have to make ourselves do that.
Well, we've said it about a bajillion times, but humans are the new superdrug. So your connection to other people has a direct line, a direct correlative to how happy, peaceful, joyful you are, and oddly enough, scientifically, even how long you live. So
it's crazy.
Being socially connected has a larger impact on longevity than even your genes and all that kind of stuff, which is great. So I'm just eating hot dogs all the time now because
I've taken up smoking and heavy drinking because I have a lot of friends.
So I figure a lot of friends, and that's burning those calories for me.
That's right. No, but it's important. And the thing is, when you start living like that, it becomes a habit. Yeah. It becomes a lifestyle, and you don't have to make yourself figure out those party questions to ask people, or make yourself be friendly to your barista. It will just start to come naturally to you. Yeah. And it seems like such a small thing, but man, it makes a difference in society.
We've talked about that with our principle, see it and say it, where where you tell someone the good you see in them. So you see the good in somebody, and then out your mouth you say, "Oh, you're so great at," or "Oh, I really love your hair," or "Oh, you're so funny," or "Oh, you're so dependable," or "Wise beyond your," whatever it is. But once you get into the habit of looking for the good in someone, that becomes your operation.
Your operating system.
Yeah, so that's just part of who you are now. And so you go through the day seeing people, acknowledging that they're a human, and then you see the good in them. And so our daughter has gotten in the habit of it, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really
Without
sweet.
being prompted, she will, the number of people that we've been with, or places we've gone, and she'll just tell someone, usually a couple years older than she is, that might happen to be working at the restaurant, or, "Hey, you're really beautiful," or, "Hey, I really love your nails," or, "Oh, your hair is so pretty." And she is brave about it, and and every person that she says that to, you can just see them melt inside. It's super sweet.
They're literally, it happens so infrequently that they're taken aback.
Yeah.
It actually happened to me. I was at a meeting the other day at our daughter's school, and I do a lot of volunteer work there when I can.
Humble brag, but yeah.
I'm always doing stuff for the children. Let's just talk about how great I am.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't know a way to say that without saying it. But anyway, I was there, and I had decorated something pretty nicely with items from the Dollar Tree. It was not fancy, but it looked really cute. And one of the other moms did something that I do. And she said to me, "Oh my gosh, this looks great.
Yeah.
You're the best person at this." And I wanted to be like, "Oh my God, thank you." Because I don't know why it's so silly, but that rarely happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." And of course I was self-deprecating. "Oh, it's just Dollar Tree, whatever."
Yeah.
But
what do you call it? You call it Dollar Tree?
I call it Dollar Tree chic is the way that we decorate. I can make any area look pretty good for about $22.
Yeah.
Now that it's a $1.25 tree, it's more like $24, $25.
Yeah.
But no, it was really sweet. And because we try to live a lifestyle of that, we're not perfect at it, but we are conscious of it. So when someone actually does that to you, you're like,
"This is amazing.
Thank you. It was so nice that someone knows that took some time." And we could have just put the soups that we were having on the luncheon on the gross tables that were in the gym, but we did not.
Yeah.
We did not.
Tablecloths.
Let me just say, everyone, life's too short not to use tablecloths.
Okay. Well, there you go. Well, there are so many different examples or scenarios that we could list on this, but I just think this whole thing of that to human is to be aware of other people and what they need in a moment. In that given moment, what does this person need? They need space. They need me to leave the party on time. They need me to not show up 10 minutes before the party starts. They need me to not monopolize their time and energy when I get there. They need me to treat them as a human and give them a respite from the person that yelled at them before I got there. Whatever it is. But it's an interesting thing to walk in and say, what does this person need? We were going to a birthday party last night. We happened to be in separate cars because you guys were going somewhere afterwards. And so as I was pulling in the parking lot, I thought, okay, it was like a checklist. Okay, what's this person going to need when I get in there? What would make this better when I get in there?
Yeah.
What could I do that would make somebody feel more comfortable or more seen or more loved or whatever it is? What could I do?
Yeah.
And so automatically you walk in and your disposition is aware and cheerful and loving. Your eyes are off of yourself. And that's kind of the weird side benefit of this is that when you go and you compliment, so you see the good in someone and you compliment them, or you pay for someone's coffee because they're stressed and anxious and it's just a nice thing you can do, all that stuff starts to kind of do this, I don't know, like just a huge ripple effect of good and joy and quality. And then that ends up feeding your own soul. You end up feeling great.
Yeah.
You end up feeling, and that's this amazing side benefit of making other people feel good is that suddenly you feel good.
Yeah.
You feel more hopeful. You feel more joyful. You feel more encouraged.
Yeah. It's somehow ends up being reciprocal.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is human nature, unfortunately, which we all have and fight against sometimes, we're sort of wired, unfortunately, for the negative thoughts that are in our mind. Those are the ones that come easy, right?
Yeah.
That's when the tape in your mind just starts rolling. And oftentimes in a busy season like the holidays, and especially when we're headed places, there are a lot of things on our mind, and our focus is on ourself.
Yes.
And that's it. That's when somebody walks in and starts talking on you at the party, they're not focused on you.
Right.
They're focused on themselves. And we all have those struggles.
Yes.
But if you can get in the habit of trying to flip the script on that, and the crazy thing is that you feel better because you're having these good, genuine, positive interactions with people versus just spilling out all the things that you're struggling with.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean being fake. That's not what we're talking about.
No.
I mean, there's definitely a place for honesty.
Right.
Maybe once the party treats are out and you're sitting down and having a conversation, you could be more honest and open with friends.
And that's a whole other important conversation about letting people know that it's okay to be honest, and by our example of being honest to them. That's a whole other thing. But that's still the answer to the question of, what does this person need in this moment? Well, this person in this moment might need me to be honest about my struggle.
Yes.
So they feel that. That's the answer to the question. But it still starts with the question of seeing people, being aware of them, and then saying, what does this person need in this moment?
Yeah.
And maybe they need to feel better about themselves. Maybe they, whatever it is. But if you can answer that, then that's the humaning part. That's the part that makes us humans.
Yeah,
and
that's the part that helps us human better.
Together. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that was nice. Let's put that on a shirt.
Okay. Well, Dreamers, we love you guys. We thank you for being a part of this conversation. Don't forget, before you leave, to go to that little place and write a little review of this podcast or any of our podcasts, and maybe give a star rating, and then message us with your mailing address so we can send you these gifts, because we want to do that and want to continue to be connected with you. And I think you'll really enjoy both the book and the music, of course. And then hopefully we'll get to see some of your faces on December 12th, this Friday.
Yeah, for sure. We can all practice the tips we talked about today.
Absolutely.
But we do hope you guys are having a good holiday season. It is busy for most people, but if we are aware of others, it can really be a really fun, joyful time. So we wish that for you.
Yeah. Okay, Dreamers. We'll see you again on the next episode of the Dreamers Live podcast. Peace out.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. We'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the podcast and then share it with the people you know. We want to include as many people as possible in the conversation. Also, be sure to check out our Got a Minute mini podcast, which pairs funny stories with original music all in about 15 minutes. Thanks! This has been a production of Pioneer Dream.